Previously on this adventure, I met up with some of my good friends in Death Valley National Park to explore some of the amazing terrain and rich history it has to offer. We put down quite a few miles on the dirt and got after it a bit on some technical rocky sections in search of some abandoned cabins and found ourselves deep down some tunnels of some old mines. Towards the end of the day, my buddy Josh snapped a tie rod, so we had to make a slight adjustment to our plans. But still, we had an awesome night at camp with a delicious hot meal. In this episode, we will continue to put down some hard miles on the trails, find some more interesting historical sites, check out some of the desert quirks, and of course, Marco will treat us to another amazing meal. Stay tuned.
What you're cooking, buddy?
Well, good morning, guys. We are going to have some breakfast burritos this morning. And yesterday, all but one egg made it through that trail. So we broke one, but that's all right. We got plenty of eggs. Josh and Jim are over there fixing the Jeep. Stacy came in late last night with all the parts, so she's the hero of this entire trip. So this morning, we're going to have some breakfast, have some coffee, hit the road. And then we've got a long drive today, so we had to fill up all our extra fuel cans, make sure all our tanks are topped off because we're putting in a lot of miles today. But get to explore some more cool stuff out here in Death Valley today, guys. It's going to be a great day.
It's no secret I'm no camp chef, but I do enjoy making breakfast, and some simple breakfast burritos with sausage, egg, and cheese, and a little salsa is a tasty, hearty meal that's easy to prepare for a large group. Now, it was a total bummer that Josh broke his tie rod yesterday, but we were thankful that it broke in the gas station parking lot because it could have been much worse if this would have broken on the trail or even driving down the road. With the new stock tie rod in hand, Josh and Jim made quick work of the swap, and we were soon back on our way. After leaving Panamint Springs, we would make our way up the mountain heading towards Saline Valley. But first, just a quick stop at Crowley Point to soak in the views. If you're lucky enough, you can see fighter jets flying overhead and diving down into the valley from time to time. Keep a lookout on our adventure as we continue along. You might just see one flying overhead. Just a few miles down the road, and we turned back onto the dirt and began our long trek. This leg of the journey will take us about 200 miles up a mountain and down deep into the valley, so we were sure to top off our fuel tanks and add extra fuel just in case. A few miles down the trail, and we came across our next point of interest. Well, this was supposed to be our campsite last night, which would have been really cool with all the Joshua trees back here and this old cabin and just a good spot for us all to camp. Just a beautiful view up here. I'm definitely going to have to mark this and come back. There's even an old outhouse up here, so this is a perfect little campsite.
But it's got a stove, you know, and an outhouse. And for us, that's two big deals, you know,
right.
Especially if it's really nasty.
We couldn't stay long because we all knew we had more to see and needed to put down some more miles on the trail to hopefully reach our next planned campsite before darkfall. One thing I think we didn't expect on this trip was to be traveling through some thick Joshua tree forests and then climbing over 7,000 feet in elevation to the pine trees and even some snow on the ground from a recent storm that had passed through just a couple days ago. I'm loving the change of scenery. Okay, now we're in search for another old log cabin. things so cool.
Look, you'll see. So some of these logs were recently replaced.
Yeah, I was gonna say
So this, and then there was a floor, and then that floor rotted away, and so now you can see there's a brand new hardwood floor. Gorgeous. I mean, you could.
Well, I gotta say, this is completely unexpected. I did not expect to be going 7,100 feet, snow and ice on the ground, pine trees, and finding a beautiful cabin like this. We're at Hunter's Cabin, and this is a very cool spot. This has been an awesome, awesome day. Now, Jim tells me we still have a whole lot of miles to put in, and we're gonna go all the way from 7,100 feet all the way down to below sea level. So we've got a long ways to go, a lot of miles to put in, but man, what a beautiful trip so far. Did you guys see that shot? That plane flew over on cue. That was amazing.
Okay, I'm a little bit excited about that. The flyover was way more spectacular in person, and if only the camera had been pointed up just a bit more, you would have seen what we saw. It was pretty awesome, but that's the way it goes sometimes. And no, that was totally unplanned, but talk about perfect timing. All right, it's just about lunchtime and just a bit further to our next stop. After a couple hours of driving, we made it to the Lost Borough mine. Of all the cabins we have visited, this one was the most rustic, and it was great to see many artifacts left on the shelves and tables for others to enjoy. I hope this kind of stuff stays untouched for years to come. The cabin had true character, but also of interest was a small building off to the side which may have been used to house dynamite, because you'd never want to sleep with your explosives. The mine up the hill was just as interesting, and Jim shared a little bit of his knowledge about the mills.
So a lot of mines just dig the ore out and then they haul it out in carts or whatever they can, horse by horse or whatever, truck, even old trucks. Some mills actually had a mill, some mines actually had a mill on site. This one had a mill on site. So they actually tried to process the ore, and I believe, I haven't been up there, I can't remember, but I think it's a stamp mill. And a stamp mill basically has these big hammers, and they're on kind of a crankshaft, which has really got cams. So that as it rotates, the cams lift the hammers and then they drop. And the ore is underneath and it just starts crushing the rocks. Other types of mills are ball mills, where it's like a giant barrel with an agitator in it. And they put big cast iron balls inside of it. And again, all that tumbling just crushes the rocks and pulverizes it so that it can be further processed. I'm not an expert on that. There's a very deadly poison that they use to dissolve gold. Can't think of the name of it, but I'll
cyanide or
cyanide.
Yeah,
Thank
cyanide.
you. So cyanide dissolves the gold into a liquid, and they would then filter that out and then basically reconstitute the gold. That's how to separate it from the rock.
The amount of knowledge Jim has acquired by coming here for the last 4 decades is something to aspire to. We need to keep these places alive and continue to share the history of them for generations to come.
Back here. I don't know how far that looks. Go check it out.
Oh yeah, there's a lot
There's cement that way.
of shoring and stuff in here.
Yeah, the shoring one is what got me. I was like,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, a lot of shoring.
Yeah, dead ends right
There's
there.
a nest
Oh,
of
it does?
something over there though, so
There's a nest of
So
something.
keep going back there, Marco?
probably
No,
a rat
see the-
or something.
Bags of concrete.
Oh yeah, they filled it. Well, that stinks. Cool anyway. But yeah, that's a little sketch. Well, what another great find out here in Death Valley. The Lost Borough Mine is so cool. The old cabin, the old mill up there. Just an awesome spot. Now we are gonna take a little break here. It's about 1:30 in the afternoon, so we're gonna eat some lunch. And then we still have a lot of miles to go, but what a great day so far. And the weather in February out here could not be more perfect. Marco, what do you got here?
Ice cream.
Ice cream.
He's got everything.
Dude, we're in the
Everything. Man, thank you. This is a treat.
desert. Marco, you always think of everything.
Brad?
All right, well, this is Tea Kettle Junction, and a lot of people have probably heard about that. It's one of the quirks out here in Death Valley. I don't know how many tea kettles are on there, but it's a lot. And Jim said, you know, back in the day, it was just an old bunch of old antique tea kettles, and now over the years, people come out here and they leave tea kettles and they sign their names to them, and it's an interesting little quirk. I'm sure that the Park Service has to come out here and remove a couple of these every year, but at least it's a good landmark. We know where we're at, but we're gonna go see some really cool stuff next.
If you're making the trek out to Death Valley for the first time, a great destination stop is the racetrack. It's a unique dry lake bed with mysterious rocks that move across the ground, leaving some tracks behind them. Some say they are magical, others say that aliens did it, but if you do a little homework, there's actually a scientific explanation for it. These days, it's difficult to find these rocks, so you may have to spend a little time walking deep out onto the lake bed to find them. Okay. Now, we're going to have a little fun on a popular trail shortcut route.
not enough F's and fast to get you smooth, so do what you can do.
Copy that.
Once down in the Saline Valley, we made just a quick stop to check out the history of this area. The largest tramway in the United States used to be here, and it carried salt 7,600 feet up the Inyo Mountain and 5,100 feet down the other side. Quite a salt production that used to exist here in the early 1900s.
That's where we're headed for tonight. We're going to camp up in that canyon. So we're going to have to go around this lake, and then we're going to have to cut through some sand dunes to get up that way. So we got a little bit of a drive to get to it.
Beautiful out here.
The sun is just now beginning to set, and we have put in some hard miles today. Thankfully, camp is not too far off. We did have to pull over for just a minute and do a little investigating of Jim's Jeep after he heard what sounded like metal on metal grinding. But thankfully, it was just the brake shield was rubbing, so a quick little bending of the brake shield and back down the trail we went. After a short drive down one of the bumpiest sections of trail we had been on since coming here to Death Valley, we arrived just outside the hot springs.
Well, after well over 100 miles of driving today, we finally made it to camp. And it's a tight fit in here, but it's a cool little spot because those palm trees over there, there's a hot spring over there. So we will check that out in the morning. But everybody's getting set up. Marco's cooking dinner again tonight, which is going to be amazing. And the sky, let me just flip you guys around for a second. Look at that sky. It's beautiful. There's even a little snow in the mountains up there. No wind. It's going to be a great night. All right, buddy. I know you are working hard on prepping dinner, but before we talk about what you're making, what'd you think of today?
It was an awesome day.
Yeah.
The trail is just incredible. The views are amazing. I'm super happy.
Yeah, the terrain changed, the fact that we were up in the pine trees and then down in the desert.
Oh,
Dude.
yeah. And after, 3 months that I haven't been out?
I know,
Oh,
right?
man, it's just incredible.
What a reuniting trip, right? Okay, how about that full moon?
It's beautiful.
Look at that thing. That
beautiful.
thing is pretty cool. Okay, what's for dinner?
Carne asada tortas.
All right, what do you got for ingredients?
Okay, I got ciabatta bread. I got arrachera.
What is that?
Arrachera meat.
Okay,
Which is,
okay.
Yeah, okay. For carne asada.
Yeah.
Habanero peppers for the salsa, tomato, bell pepper also for the salsa, cilantro for the salsa and the guacamole, because I'm going to make a guacamole.
Okay.
Mayonnaise.
Yeah.
And a special onions with the one that you like. Onions with the habanero pepper.
Oh, yeah, buddy. Well, I can't wait. Dinner last night was amazing, and thank you for cooking again. Just all that food right there, my mouth is already watering, dude.
Marco started off by slicing up the onions, then finely chopping the habanero peppers, sliced up a few tomatoes, squeezed in some lemon juice, added a little vinegar, and then topped it off with some salt and pepper and set that aside to marinate. Then he boiled up the red jalapeno peppers, chopped and boiled the bell peppers, and added some other spices and chilies into the blender. That way we were going to have a nice sauce to go on the sandwiches. Then the meat went on the scuttle, and oh yeah, things were smelling pretty good at camp right about now. Lastly, he worked his magic and made some guacamole. You know, for years now I've been watching Marco cook at camp, and he just does it with such passion and such joy. I love eating his food, but it's almost more enjoyable to watch him making it.
Come and get it!
How does this work?
Okay, let me show you.
Oh my lord. Okay.
Avocado,
But
You
you
like-
already have avo. Do I put more on?
if you want to, but you like
Okay.
everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want the Marco special.
Okay. Tomato,
A little bit of onion.
onion.
Is this on ciabatta?
Yes.
Toasted ciabatta. Oh my lord.
This salsa.
Oh.
You never had a Marco meal?
No, I've never had a Marco
my
meal.
gosh.
Oh, I've had ceviche from Marco. That's about it.
Yeah.
That was good. The habanero is angry though.
Habanero is angry. I told
noticed you only dribbled a little bit on. I'm thinking I'm going to ask for more than that.
Thank you, Marco. Oh my gosh, this is so good.
There's another one ready right here.
So, did I tell you the mouth purchase?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's mustache looking good right there, buddy.
All right, buddy. Everybody is saying this is so delicious, but it's got some kick.
It's got some kick.
You keep saying the word warm. This is going to be hot, isn't it?
Yeah,
Okay.
habanero.
All right, here we go. Whoa, dude. That's got some kick. But wow, that's got a lot of flavor. Nice job, dude. Thanks for dinner again.
Welcome.
Today was another unforgettable adventure out here in Death Valley. Great food, great friends, and to top it off, an amazing moonrise over the mountains. On the next leg of this adventure, we continue to explore more of the northern region of Death Valley, come across an old ghost town, camp out in an old abandoned mine, visit something completely unexpected in the middle of nowhere, and venture down one of the most beautiful trail sections out here in the national park. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.